Hello and welcome to the Integrative Health Convention 2019 online interviews. Today we're going to find out more about the Diploma for Integrated Health and setting this up with Dr. Elizabeth Thompson and Dr. Duncan Still. And they're both speaking at the Integrative Health Convention 2019 on the weekend of the 5th and 6th of October at the Park Plaza, Victoria in central London. So this is Elizabeth Thompson and Duncan Still. And they are the course organisers at the National Centre for Integrative Medicine down in Bristol. Just finished the first intake of the Diploma for Integrative Health, the only one in this country, I believe. And they're going to tell us a bit more about it. So I was going to start by asking each of you, by letting the audience and myself know a bit more about each of you and what you do.
Shall I start? Yes, I'm CEO and Academic Director for the National Centre for Integrative Medicine. I set the organisation up as a community interest company about 4 years ago to really support this transformation of healthcare to a much broader vision, conventional, lifestyle, holistic approaches to create choice for both doctors, healthcare professionals and the public, and to activate health and well-being. So that's me.
My name is Duncan Still. I'm a GP, but I'm also education lead for NCIM, the National Centre for Integrative Medicine. And I also do other work at an organisation called Penny Bron UK, which is a cancer charity that again looks at lifestyle and complementary therapies and how they can help. So I'm particularly interested in how I can help my patients with lifestyle and complementary interventions alongside conventional therapies. But I'm also really interested in how we as healthcare professionals can help support ourselves with this new style of practicing medicine. You know, it opens up all sorts of new ways of doing things, which I think are good for us and good for our patients.
Absolutely. And I think it's such a growing field, so much interest in the medical profession in the last, I wouldn't even say 10 years, I would say the last 5 years, really.
Yeah, last 3 years in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you both tell me how you got interested in what you do and maybe the story behind how you got started?
Yeah, well, I guess to make it brief, I've been holistic from the word go. Training in medicine, I wanted to train in acupuncture and went along and tried to find out about it and was told to qualify. And then I did qualify, and then I started to train in palliative medicine and also started to train in a range of approaches: medical homeopathy, neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, auricular acupuncture. And I just found that my ability to support people to help problem symptoms was just really enhanced. So that's my story. And then just more recently, as I said, I've set up the Centre for Integrative Medicine so that we really get these hubs that are supporting the transformation.
And my own journey was, I suppose, I came from a family that felt that there were alternatives to mainstream medicine to start with. So I think I already had that mindset that there were alternatives. But then training in medicine, I was super impressed with what conventional therapies could achieve, especially in acute conditions. But then when I came to train in general practice, I sensed, as I'm sure we all do, that the great burden of disease was actually largely chronic conditions for which a lot of conventional care kind of fell short quite often. And so in trying to help my patients navigate that quite difficult terrain, I began looking outside the conventional paradigms and found some very useful answers, whether that be in the field of acupuncture or in terms of herbal treatments, or a lot of the lifestyle interventions that we don't get taught about more fully at medical school, so things like nutrition and physical activity. How can we really be using those to their fullest? And I've just found that very liberating as a practitioner, inspiring, and I've seen patients do supremely well with it as well. So that's really why I do what I do.
Thank you. I think that's a reason why a lot of us do what we do now, because of the results that we've seen.
Yeah.
So both of you, we're going to talk about the diploma and how you went about organising it and running it this October at the Park Plaza. Can you tell us a little bit more about this and what the audience will gain out of your talk?
Yeah, I guess I'd had a personal experience of not being able to afford to, or with a young family, couldn't travel to Arizona where there was a Diploma for Integrative Medicine. And it felt like we really needed something in the UK, but also to provide training for Europe and other areas of the globe. And we felt that we needed to do it from scratch, that we needed to design something that really suited the needs of healthcare professionals and was relevant, to the UK and to Europe. So that's how we began. About 4 years ago, we were lucky enough to get some charitable funding because it's been pretty intense development work. And we, as you said, we just finished the first cohort of learners are just graduating now in October. So that is really exciting for us.
And I think what's particularly interesting is how interest is picking up. So in the first kind of year or two of trying to get things off the ground, it took a while to find the people. But now that we are more visible and people are getting more and more interested in integrative medicine, we are now getting a huge amount of interest in the course. And we're very pleased with what we've produced, I think. There is this very well-known integrative medicine fellowship based in Arizona, which I think is an excellent course, but I think there are some downsides in that it's in America, it's pretty costly, and it's based in an American context, whereas what we're doing here in the UK, it's the only diploma of its kind in integrative medicine at the moment in the UK, and it's very much more relevant for kind of European and the UK context. And it's a lot cheaper, so people, I think, find it more affordable. And to be honest, I want to get on and do the diploma myself. It's been great fun creating it. I think what we've ended up with is a fantastic resource. So yeah, I'd welcome anyone to come along and find out more.
And because we are so keen for people to be able to join learner groups, we also have bursaries to support learning. So not only have we tried to cost it well, but also can support some people, not everybody, but with bursaries.
And who is this open to?
Well, it is open at the moment to all statutorily registered healthcare professionals. But we have had so much interest from the CAM practitioner community that we're now working on a certification, a diploma for CAM practitioners, because we're also really interested in how to meet in the middle ground. I know your convention is really trying to work with that, where lots of different people who might not get in the room together start to look at what they have in common rather than what's different. So yes, at the moment, statutorily registered healthcare professionals, but we're hoping by 2020 to have broadened it out.
I must say, having met some of your current students, they're amazingly enthusiastic, and I think they'll make amazing practitioners.
I think they inspire us, and we inspire each other as a group. And it's wonderful. What we've ended up with is now a kind of network of people who are going to go out and disseminate and become resources for one another. So I'm really excited about how that progresses.
Wonderful.
And I feel I'm learning so much from them and from the actual content that we've created with a wide variety of associate tutors, that it really has enlivened my practice, which is exciting for me. I wasn't expecting that outcome, but that has happened.
Excellent. So I'm asking one last question. So as doctors, having done what you've done for years, what do you think in particular is the key to health and healing in what you do? What do you think makes the most difference?
I think the thing that has helped me most in my practice and maybe had the most impact is actually around recognizing the power of activating the patient themselves. They are their own best healer. I'm only going to be with them for 10 minutes in a GP consultation. They're going to go out into the rest of their lives, and it's up to them as to how they lead their life. So I suppose one of the most useful tools for me has been motivational interviewing as a technique to try and galvanize that patient activation. But realizing what a powerful resource patients are for themselves. I think getting that message across that I don't hold all the answers. We can co-create this thing called health. I think for me, that's one of the biggest things.
And I think for me, concepts of healing are what I find really important and come through in many of these holistic practices. And one of the themes that comes recurrently is one of balance. So I find it very therapeutic when I'm working in consultation to just look very simply at where someone feels they're out of balance. And that can often be not obvious at the beginning, but by the end of the hour, people are often thinking, I can see that that's not quite working for me. So this idea of wholeness and healing and balance and restoring balance, I think are key concepts for me around healing.
Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for taking the time to watch and listen to this interview. I'm sure you, like me, have learned a lot from today, and maybe you can apply some of that to what you do, and maybe want to look Duncan and Elizabeth up on the links which I'll put below. But to learn even more, come and hear them speak at the convention this October. Remember to get your tickets early now from our website by following the links below. We are the Integrative Health Convention at the Park Plaza Victoria in London on the 5th and 6th of October 2019. You can use the discount code video5, which will give you a 5% discount as a gift from us to you for sharing your time with us. So when we see you in October in London, you get to meet myself, Elizabeth, Duncan, and so many more of our amazing speakers then. So we'll see you then. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. Look forward to seeing you. Bye.